we've sent, I think, just shy of 8,000 emails. We're sitting at a 62% open rate, and I believe we have somewhere around 8 to 10 positive replies.
What's going on, guys? Andre Hakel Jr. here from ListKit, here with one of my really good friends, Alex Hayden. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, bro. So you're running a SaaS company as well right now called ZapX. Is there anything else you're working on?
I still run a no-code development agency, but that one is, the business that's really attached to like my brand and grows from my personal brand, whereas this new software is very much so a little bit of the brand, but we're doing a lot of outbound for it, obviously.
Solid. Yeah, so you recently signed up for our cold email setup offer. My question to you is what specifically are you using cold email for? So it is for that SaaS or that software
Yeah.
business?
Yeah. So it's to grow the power dialer.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, so we'll get more into that and how it all works because it actually is a great fit with ListKit. So if you're listening to this and you're using ListKit already to get data or triple verified emails for your cold email campaigns, it also makes a lot of sense to get the mobile numbers as well, which we have available, and use Alex's software, ZapX, to do the cold calling. Because I mean, I've done plenty of interviews on this channel already with guys that add in the calling steps, and it skyrockets results. But one of the number one questions I get is like, how do I do it? Or these dialers are expensive, or they don't really work, or they're meant for like bigger enterprises and organizations. So with what you've built, it's like a perfect fit with what we've
Yeah.
built over at ListKit, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But I want to
Awesome.
go more into like your experience with cold email specifically. So like you've done cold email before you signed up to our setup offer. So what was your experience with cold email before? And then my question is like, even though you know how to do it on your own and have done it before, why did you sign up for the ListKit cold email setup offer?
Yeah. So cold email was a huge part of Closify and still is. I first started cold email campaigns for Closify in the fall of 2021. And I feel like it was one of those things where when we were first going to try it, I was like, there's no way this works. You know what I mean? I don't know that like I've ever responded to a cold email. I was like, there's no way that this works. And we started off not even like with that much volume, maybe 5,000 emails a month. And we started to get clients from it. And I was like, this is kind of crazy. And we scaled
Yeah.
it up at one point, not all from cold email, but from a mix of cold email, cold calling, a little bit of like SEO, a little bit of LinkedIn. We were booking like 200 demos a month, like almost all outbound. And I was like, this is nuts. Like, this works incredibly well once you figure everything out of like how to build your list and messaging, and you get product market fit and have, case studies and all the things that are important. But I was like, this works incredibly well. But then, so why I came to ListKit was one, that was back in 2021 and 2022. And still, I wasn't necessarily the one that set that up and was managing it. I knew what was going on. I knew where we were buying our lists. I knew what our scripts were. I knew how many follow-ups. Like I very much so understand it and like know what's going on. But at the same time, that was 2 years ago. So I was like, I would rather go to the people that not only are doing it a ton for themselves, but you guys have you're right at the source with all the people inside Client Ascension and with ListKit. You're very much so in the know of like what's working like right now. And so
Yeah.
I would much rather go to the people that know what's working right now than waste any of my time trying to figure it out. And then on top of that, obviously, it's not necessarily hard, but even all the domain stuff setting up is a little tedious, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that it's difficult, but it's tedious. It was so easy. Like literally all I had to do was after like getting onboarded was then Lewis reached out to me and was like, hey, like, let me show you how this works. And then all you have to do is hit the on button and answer replies. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't get much easier than that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically cold email on easy mode. And the one thing you pointed out, which is super important, is just like with anything, like the industry has changed, right? So back in
Yeah.
the day, 2021, 2022, saying that like it's a super long time ago, but that was just like
Right.
yesterday. But like you could get away with sending 5,000 cold emails a month and get some pretty decent results. Now you have to be sending like that volume per day because it's so much more competitive,
Right.
and it's just like anything, like it gets more saturated. But when something gets more saturated, I feel like a lot of people, they're just like, well, I'm going to go on to something else and find the next thing. But like you can still have great results or even better results by working with people that know the game and are close to
Yeah.
it in the form of, like you're saying, client ascension and ListKit and working in the industry that way. But also just not having to be involved in the technical setup process is really the biggest thing. And I think I probably told you this transparently because we're like friends before anything business related.
Yeah.
But like the way the ListKit setup offer works is we charge basically at cost. So like you could go and find someone else to set up a cold email system for you, but you're probably going to pay a lot more for it because they're trying to
Right.
profit on something like
Right.
that. Whereas we are just trying to get people to use our SaaS because we know like the long game of getting users onto our SaaS, and it's a
Exactly.
really good tool and they'll use the data for a long time if the cold email stuff is set up properly on the front end. So you're not really going to find it cheaper anywhere else. So you're not only getting the expertise and the experience from us, but you're also getting the best price. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds, which is why I think the offer has been doing so well.
Yeah. I mean, you just said it as well. It's like that's the other amazing part about cold email, especially if someone's like a little bit earlier in their business career. It's so affordable. Like you can send a ton of cold emails for like not that much money compared to if you had to run paid ads and all these other different methods. Like even putting out, obviously you can put out content for free, but if you want to get like quality editors for like YouTube or, even Instagram, like dude, editors are really expensive now.
Yeah, and it takes a while, right? Like if you were to start posting content on the internet, like you're not going to see instantaneous results or feedback. But with cold email, like you could literally get an email in front of your ICP or your ideal clients and right away get feedback on whether or not your offer is in demand and then
Yeah.
make pivots and switches on the fly. And that's a mistake we made early on, which is why we fell in love with cold email, is because we burnt thousands of dollars on paid ads trying to figure out if our offer was desirable. Turns out it wasn't. And by the time we found out it wasn't, we already burnt through our entire marketing budget of like $10,000 or whatever it was at the time. And we had no other options but to do cold email because cold email was so cheap and affordable. And so, yeah, that's why I love it as well, is because you can do it very cheaply and get the instant results and the instant feedback from the market. So, for you, what has been your experience doing cold email outreach for ZapX, which is your new SaaS company?
Yeah. So again, I think the campaigns have been on for about 3 weeks now. We've sent, I think, just shy of 8,000 emails. We're sitting at a 62% open rate. And I believe we have somewhere around 8 to 10 positive replies. And we've booked a few demos from those. I believe we've gotten one customer from it. And we have a few others that we're working. Some of the demos that we had are like very large possible contract sizes as well. So like again, we charge like, per seat. So one of the companies had like 56 dialers. So they would literally be like a $5,000 a month contract. You know what I mean? But yeah, for the first month of just like basically testing like the list that we got, the subject lines and, the messaging, it's been pretty solid. And now to like what you said earlier, now that we're like, all right, we're seeing it's booking demos, it's just increasing the volume.
Exactly, and cold email too is like we always talk about like the lag of like, okay, you've sent 8,000 emails or close to 8,000 emails, but you have a sequence as well,
Right.
right? So like those 8,000 people you've reached out to, they still have to get email 2, email 3, email 4, email 5, and so you also have to be patient, just like any other form of marketing. You do
Yeah.
get quick results with cold email, but it's not like as soon as the first email goes out, it's either they respond right then and there or it's done. Like that's never the case. So you'll start to see the increase in positive responses without the increase in people that you're actually having to reach out to, which is really nice. And then have you been doing like the calling as well to people who are responding positively or even people who are opening the emails, or have you not gotten into that yet?
Yeah. So we've been doing it right now just with people that are responding positively. It's just been a lot easier than because even like, for example, I have one SDR right now and I'm also slightly like managing the inbox myself. And obviously, one of the call to actions, right, is like, mind if we send over a video of the dialer in action? Obviously, if it takes one of us a couple hours to send that over, could lose them right there just because we took too long to respond. And so right now, we've basically just been trying to just be on top of it. And he's like, yeah, if you see like monitor and if you see someone respond, call them. But we're also actually working on, it'll probably be done like next week, where we'll actually use Smart Leads PI and send that information over, and it'll actually like create a trigger for a rep to call them as soon as they reply.
That's awesome, dude. And that'll be rolled out to all users, or is that just something you're doing internally?
No, it'll be for all users.
That's sweet, dude. So
Yeah.
basically, if you guys are listening and you're using Smart Lead to send your cold emails, you can zap over positive responses right into Alex's dialer with the contact data, which would probably be in Smart Lead if you uploaded it to Smart Lead, or you could pull it from ListKit or wherever you get that data from.
Yeah.
And then you can use ZapX to actually dial that lead that has a positive response. Yeah, that's fire, bro. That's fire. Yeah, that's just like kind of where the industry is going with cold email. It's a volume game. It's becoming more and more of a volume game, but it's also multiple touch points, because what will happen is people will get the positive responses, but they'll really struggle to convert a high percentage of those to a call in their calendar. And it's really just because the response rate's not, or the response time is not fast enough usually. And if you're not responding right then and there while they're logged into their inbox, they usually forget about it, or they forget that they even responded in the first place. And then maybe they don't see the response in their inbox after, because it's flooded with a bunch of new emails by that point. So if you can pick up the phone and call them, especially if you have access to like their mobile number or their phone number, using a dialer like what Alex has built, you're above and beyond everyone else that you're playing against in the cold email space. So
Yeah. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with like multiple touch points. It's like even at Closify with HubSpot, we were able to lead score people based off of like if they've opened emails, how much they've visited our website. That's why I got really excited when I saw ListKit is introducing, if people have visited your website. I mean, I think that is going to be the biggest game changer. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head.
yeah, just to kind of like preview what's coming, right? So we have a feature, not only website visitors, because a lot of people, including like ourselves, is like, truly, we don't have that many people visiting our website.
Mhm.
Obviously, the people that are visiting the website, they're hot leads and they should be prioritized and they'll convert at a higher clip. But like at the end of the day, it's not going to be like a full-time job for an SDR to call all of those people, because there's just not that many people,
Right.
at least for most businesses that like are in our space. And so what we're doing is we're taking it a step further and saying, hey, like we'll take your website visitors, the 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 website visitors, and using our big database of 500 million B2B leads, we'll go out and find a list of thousands of lookalikes based on that sample.
Mm.
So not only are you getting people that visit your website, but you're getting companies that are technically like those companies, which you'll have. It's just basically like you don't have to do the search filters in ListKit anymore and hope that you put in all the right keywords and industries and company sizes of like, these are the people I think want my services. Instead, you go
Yeah.
based off people who are actually looking at your services and companies like those companies.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So, yeah, lots of exciting things happening on the ListKit side and the ZapX side, which again, if you're listening and you're doing cold email and using one tool or the other, like it makes sense in pretty much every scenario to be using both tools side by side. And so I would definitely recommend the listeners to check out what Alex is building. How do they go and find that? Is it just zapx.com with the two X's or the two P's? I mean,
It's tryzapx.com.
tryzapx.com.
Yep.
I love it, bro. I love it. And listkit.io as well, obviously, if you're listening to this. And then for the cold email setup offer, it's just start.listkit.io. It's a separate funnel for that specific offer. But yeah, dude, it's cool to hear like the success you've had with cold email throughout the years, and to see that you're still doing it for new offers. It's just cool to see. It's something that we've done as well with our agency and coaching program and now our software business. So any offer we have, we just run cold email. We can lean on when we need an increase in sales.
Yeah, it hasn't led me astray yet. So it's been similar for me. It's been super predictable, super linear way to grow too, which I like, because content obviously is very up and down. You could have content that one video goes viral and like changes your business and it's sick, but at the same time you can get in big content slumps. So like it's very cool to have something that's just very predictable and linear, that hey, like I know if I do this input, I'm basically almost guaranteed to get this output.
Yeah. Absolutely, bro. I love it, dude. Well, thanks for hopping on and sharing your experience and just more information about how you're currently having success with cold email. Because I know you have a huge personal brand as well, which people are probably familiar with. And so to see that you're also supplementing, like you said, the traffic that you're getting from a personal brand with something that is a little bit more linear and consistent and predictable, like cold email, it's cool to see, and that's what, a trend I've seen across all the successful business owners that I know. But last question I have is just where can our audience find you and follow you and connect with you online outside of your software company's website?
Yeah, absolutely. It's nocode.alex on Instagram. And if you search Alex Hyden on YouTube, you'll find me. And it's at AlexH459 on Twitter.
Love it, bro. All right, dude. Thanks for hopping on and keep crushing it with your cold email and cold calling
Yeah.
campaign.
Likewise, Andre. Thank you,
All
bro.
right. Take it easy, brother.